What is going on, people? I'm back again for the third video of my Wild Eye releasing reviews. Like I said in my first one, the people over at Wild Eye Releasing were nice enough to send over a few movies for me to review. So I'm doing 4 videos with 2 reviews in each. So let me get into this one, just like I did the other ones. The first one I have here is a horror anthology. A little bit different than most. Not some. I guess there's 2 different kind of anthologies. You either got the ones that have all these small shorts that kind of mesh into one story by the end, or you just got the ones like ABC's of Death. What else? There's a few that pretty much are just short horror movies that don't have anything to do with each other, aren't related to each other, just kind of horror movie shorts, and that's what this is. And it's the Horror Network, directed by Joseph Graham, Manuel Martin, Lee Matthews, Douglas Connor, Ignacio Martin Lerma, and Brian Dorton. Let me just say, Ignacio is one of the coolest names ever. It stars Nick Frangione. Again, I'm horrible with names, so I'm probably messing every single one up. Brian Dorton, our team mission, Jan Cornett, Macarena Gomez, and Javier Botet. It's Wild Eye Releasing in association with Brian Dorton and Douglas Connor. Pretty much, there's 5 shorts. One starts even before the credits start rolling, and that one is 3 a.m. I'm not gonna say too much about each because each is pretty short, so I don't want to give too much away. So pretty much, I'm just gonna tell you what they are. 3 a.m. is pretty much like a paranormal slash ghostly short. Pretty much, this one woman gets woken up at 3 o'clock in the morning, and strange things start happening. She ends up calling her mother, and even more strange things start happening. So this is right before the credits even start rolling. So that one, is pretty good if you like the ghost stories, if you like paranormal kind of deal. That one starts, then the credits roll, and then you have one called Edward, which pretty much is like a what do you want to call it? A psychological, I guess you want to call it, session. Someone goes to a psychiatrist, and pretty much this kid is talking about how he hasn't slept in days, and he's having these dreams and visions and stuff, and this psychiatrist is trying to figure out what's going on. Again, I don't want to give too much. They're all pretty short, so pretty much that's what it bases off of, like split personality kind of. That one I liked a lot. The next one I enjoyed as well, and that's called The Quiet. Pretty much it's about a deaf girl that's on a bus that usually gets picked up by her mother, and this time she didn't, so she ends up having to walk home. And as she's walking home, she notices some blue van is following her, so she ends up getting really scared and runs off into the woods. And as she runs off, this person in this van pretty much ends up following her. So it's kind of like a stalker kind of storyline, I guess you want to call it. Then you get one called Merry Little Christmas, which is a Spanish one with what do you want to call it now? Subtitles. I couldn't even think of the word for a second, but pretty much that one is about this little girl who, well, it starts with this woman talking to a friend about certain things, and all of a sudden she starts talking about her childhood, where her father was pretty much like a bad person, tortured the mother, tortured the daughter, tortured everything, and it's pretty much she has this mask that kind of shows the father for what he is. I don't want to go way too deep into it because at first I really didn't understand too much. I probably have to go back around and watch it again. But pretty much that's where you get this kind of doll-looking like monster kind of deal. That one was a little hard to follow, but overall the premise, the visuals of it was pretty cool. And the last one, there are 5. The last one is called the Deviant One. Pretty much, it's a black and white short. You know, there's sound to it, but no talking. It's part of it. So pretty much what that is this old guy pretty much ends up inviting this young kid, this young boy, to his house. And as the short is going, all these religious like proverbs and everything start popping up on the screen. And pretty much right in the beginning, he ends up killing this young kid and pretty much doing what he wants with the body and torturing it and, the whole 9 yards kind of deal. This one, is I guess difficult, not difficult to watch, but it's definitely more disturbing than the other ones kind of deal. And at the end, kind of you find out what this guy does, and it's definitely something to be weary of, I guess you want to call it. I guess it's an homage to something, but this one, I enjoyed. It is, like I said, it's anthology, kind of along the lines of like the ABCs of horror, ABCs of death, where I guess each short is directed by a certain director and such. So they all, held up with each other. I kind of like 2 the most. Like I said, Edward and The Quiet, I think, are 2 of the better ones that I enjoyed myself. But it depends on, I guess, which kind of horror you like, I guess you want to call it. But that's the Horror Network. And the other one that I have, it's, has a lot of people in it, huge cast. And it's one of those, like I was saying in one of my older videos, the influx of, what do you want to call it, horror comedies, I guess you want to call it. I enjoyed it, and then this one kind of, it's a lower budget horror comedy, but overall I enjoyed it, and that's Caesar and Otto's Paranormal Halloween, written and directed by David Campfield, produced by Richard G. Calderon, Daniel Sullivan, and Joe Randazzo. Again, if I'm butchering these last names, I apologize. Executive producers, I have it all written down here, is Kenn Galati and Rob Hauschild. Associate producers, Kevin Bowerman and John Henry Phelan. Original music by Gerald Ferrani. The director of photography is Shahiar Ardalan. Again, I'm destroying these names. And then it stars Felissa Rose. It's got Tiffany Shepis. It's got Vernon Wells, Sean Whalen, Brinke Stevens, Andre Gower, and it also stars YouTube's very own Sean C. Phillips for a couple parts, and also Wet Movie One. Pretty much what this movie starts as. It's kind of funny. You see this young kid and his babysitter kind of, going at it. The kid yells at the babysitter, and all of a sudden she hears a back door ring or the phone ring. Oh, no, she hears something in the back, and then she goes to the front door because she hears that too, and this Otto character pops out, and you find out that it's really not a girl babysitter, it's Caesar, and in the beginning it's just them two, and Caesar's trying to get Otto out of there, and all of a sudden they're watching TV, and it pretty much pays homage to the Halloween, where the serial killer ends up breaking out of a psych ward and ends up going back to his old house, and pretty much that's what happens. This guy ends up coming back to the house where these two are, and they pretty much somehow save the kid, and they get a key to the city, and they kind of give it back to, like, we're kind of homeless right now, so I don't need the key to the city. So the mayor of the city is like, listen, I have this summer house that I don't use from October 25th to the next May. So he's like, if you want to stay somewhere, just go to the house and kind of keep over it kind of deal, because all these people that have watched it beforehand kind of, went crazy or died or whatever. And so they end up going to this house, and to tell you the truth, this movie is all over, which makes it fun. There's so many characters, so it could like bounces back and forth, which usually, I don't like. But for the way it's shot and for, the one-liners and everything in this movie, I don't mind it too much. It follows different storylines, follows different people. It goes all over the place. They find this thing behind the wall. The father's in it. The father gets possessed. It kind of brings like homage to many different kind of movies. Like I said, Halloween, Poltergeist is in there, and all these different, I guess, horror movies they kind of put into one. It kind of reminds me like a scary movie, but not a scary movie because it uses other, classic horror movies as opposed to the movies that are in recent times. Overall, I enjoyed this movie a whole lot. I've seen many of people get it, and I've never seen them reviewed. But I've seen a lot of people, like I said, on my Instagram, I post pictures, and I see a lot of people got them. And, I enjoyed it. Like I said, these two are funny. Supposedly there's two other movies with Caesar and Otto, which I have not seen, but I'm probably going to want to get. But, like I said, the one-liners are kind of funny. Overall, they make a cool duo. There's a whole bunch of other, cameos and all this stuff. It's packed with a lot of people, and it's just an overall fun movie. So I'd say definitely go ahead. If you like anthology movies, definitely go ahead and check out Horror Network. And overall, if you like, horror comedies, I'd say check out Caesar and Otto's Paranormal Halloween. I'd say, definitely check these two out. Again, you could probably find them on Amazon. And if you can't find them on Amazon for some reason, go to wildeyeReleasing.com and you'll definitely be able to find them. So, yeah, those are my reviews of those two movies. Hopefully you enjoyed my review and might have, if you were on the fence of buying these movies or checking them out, maybe now you'll just jump over the fence and buy them. So, again, thank you for checking it out. If you enjoyed my review, give me a thumbs up. If you didn't like it, tell me what you didn't like about it, I guess. And I got two more movies to review, which I probably will do tomorrow if I have time. I should have time, so you'll probably see one more review video. And yeah, so I guess until tomorrow, or until the next video, I'll see you guys.